All right. Hello, friends. Welcome to the show. And yes, that is the song that you think it is. I went to walk to. I would talk 500 times just to be the man who brings a podcast to you. Da-da-da-da-da. All right, getting ready here. Hello, John. Hello, Tim. Welcome, everybody, to show 500 IT Business Podcast. Woohoo! I even have a banner now. Look at how great this is. Look at that. We jamming. This will be unveiled next week at PAX 8 Beyond. See you all there. All right, I think that's enough music here. All right, folks. Hello. Oh, Henry, Tim, I didn't think you watched this show. Thank you for coming out. Hello, everyone. Get those off so I can see everybody here. I've got a couple of people hanging out in the green room here, and this is show number 500. And I know that you're sitting there thinking, Marvin, you yourself probably haven't done all 500, because if we go back and check the record, you are correct. I started with show number 81. And you know what? This is how it sounded. That was the intro that I had back then for that show. And then it migrated into this jammin' tune. That was back when the show was Podnuts Pro and we were cranking it out. Yeah, that was cutting edge dance music stuff back then. But now we are going to bring it to today. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, the IT Business Podcast 2023. Hello, friends. Uncle Marv here with another episode of the IT Business Podcast. This is the Wednesday live show, and it is a very special show. Although, as you can tell by the prep, I didn't make it that way in the production, but it is. This is show number 500. Many of you didn't think that I would make it this long. Heck, I didn't think I would make it this long, but here we are, going strong in the middle of 2023, 1 week before PAX 8 Beyond, where I will be visiting my good friend Rob Ray, the godfather of the channel, and hanging out there. I believe we are almost complete. We have a string of interviews lined up there, and we're going to have a live radio row somewhere on the premises of the Gaylord there, and interviewing several, obviously, PAX 8 folks, and interviewing some of the vendors there and finding some of the MSPs that will be attending the conference. So look forward to a good week there. As I mentioned right before the intro, I have a couple of people hanging out in the guest room. I'm going to go ahead and bring them out, and we'll get started with tonight's show. Because this is a tech show, we should talk about tech and not make it all about the past. So first, coming up, Don Sizer, my good friend from Third Element Consulting.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am good, and I recognize that background. That is not your house.
It is not. It is not. But, you know, what better way to celebrate 500 episodes than to not be in my own house with this crazy background?
Oh, well, good. Well, thank you for coming out. And is that a very special sweater jacket? Is it cold up there or something?
It's not cold. It's just that it gets chilly in the evening when the sun goes down still.
Oh, okay.
You wouldn't know anything about that being from Florida. It never really gets cold there. So
really, the sun goes down and it gets cold? Come on.
Yeah, it happens. It's the thing.
Oh my goodness gracious. I was just looking here, and the temperature here is still, oh my goodness, 82 degrees with a real feel of 90.
Jeez. No, it's more like 68 here at the moment. So it's just that nice, like, it's beautiful, but it's slightly chilly.
Okay. Well, actually, we may have somebody that is possibly a little colder than you, and that is my friend from up north in Jersey, from Two River Computer, Tom Bull.
Brr.
And you do have a jacket on.
I do, but because I have the air conditioning on, because you know about the fires in Canada, they're really creating a lot of havoc around here. I mean,
Yeah.
you can smell it, you can see it. I mean, up in New York, it looks like if you looked out your window, it's like an orange rectangle. Here, it's not so bad, but it's still it's noticeable.
Wow. Well, hopefully things will clear up for you. And listen, that stuff better be gone by the time TechCon happens this fall.
Yeah, it's going to be gone by Saturday.
All right.
Let's hope.
So, well, guys, thank you for coming out. And just to give somebody some anticipation, or everybody some anticipation, I have one more guest, and it is a very special guest. This guy is, look, he may not show up, but if he does, it will be quite interesting. That's the way our channel is, isn't it?
Well, now I have to know, like, who is it?
I don't want to jinx it.
All right.
So we'll just see if he shows up. He said he would, but I don't trust him.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I know who it might be.
Yeah, you probably would.
I'm guessing.
So,
Okay.
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's talk a little tech, and let's start with some news, because I read a thing that was, even though it was posted anonymously on the Reddit, it talked all about the ConnectWise buyout. Have you guys heard much about that?
I saw the post this morning, I think it was. And I was like, ooh, that's a little ballsy posting that, but wow.
I feel so in the dark.
So
wait, let me make it darker. So yeah, I feel so in the dark. So what happened? Who is it? Kaseya?
well, Kaseya got mentioned.
Dado? Who is it? Who
No,
bought?
so ConnectWise, it has, listen, I'm going out on a limb, and everything I say is speculation and personal opinion. I have no facts.
Okay.
I have no sources.
Okay.
Except for what we read out in the internet. And if it's on the internet,
it must be true.
Be true.
So the rumor has been around that ConnectWise is trying to follow the Kaseya model and, be bought out by, bigger, better people. And somebody posted on Reddit yesterday that basically the deal is kind of stuck because apparently, what is it? The ConnectWise people want something like $6 billion. And they've actually had offers somewhere around the $4 billion range, and that wasn't enough. and somebody else is, possibly offering between 4 and 5 billion, but may
Well,
have thrown in the towel. Go ahead.
I mean, how much are naming rights for the next arena? Because those don't come cheap, right?
That's right. That's right.
I think it depends on who wins the NBA Finals, because I think Kaseya was counting on the Heat to win.
Yep. Yep.
So maybe who's playing? Oh, the Denver Nuggets.
I have no idea. Sports ball, yay! Go sports ball.
You know what? They might still be. Let's see. Game 4 is, when is the game 4 or 3 tonight? I think game 3 is tonight.
Yeah, game 4 would be Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
So it's going to go back to Denver. So game 5 will be in Denver while I'm at PAX 8. Maybe I'll have to find a way to score some tickets. Hey, Rob Ray, give me a ticket. But it's just interesting hearing all the rumors and stuff. And
well, you didn't say what who you thought it was.
That was buying them?
Yeah.
Well, so in the article, the person mentions, Tama Bravo is who owns them now, and they're trying to sell. And then they mentioned KKR, Advent, CD&R. So those are the names.
It's just a bunch of, so it's just a bunch of
it's more
hedge
venture
fund
capitalists.
people. Yeah. Okay.
And they said, making things worse. Well, what they do is they talk about the fact that they're stuck on the fact that the growth rate is not what they expect, where everybody's wanting growth rates 25 to 40%.
Double digit. Yeah. Double digit. Yeah.
Connect-wise is 10%, which the person that wrote the article says that's anemic,
Wow.
according to the way things have been. So, and
that's a similar thing with Sentinel-1.
Yeah.
Sentinel-1's not seeing the growth, and you're going to start seeing, I think, with others, and then they're going to, all of a sudden, they're going to be looking to be bought, maybe.
Well, it's interesting because the person talked about that. He talked about the EBITDA, which is, I guess, not high, but the worst part of it is that churn is happening, where a lot of people are bailing. And listen, I'm not going to say whether bailing is good or bad or right or wrong, but obviously Kaseya is going through that, where people are jumping ship and ConnectWise. And anytime people feel that, the mothership is getting a little too big, they're going to try to stay home and, deal with, more green vendors. But listen, right now, everybody is trying to be bought, even emerging vendors. The whole reason they're emerging is so they can get big enough to either make a ton of money or get bought. So just kind of interesting, especially that somebody actually threw out a name. I had no idea who was in the running or anything, or what type of money we're talking about. And,
I would have assumed it was some, like a, not necessarily a competitor, but somebody looking to get bigger.
But
it's all about venture capitalists.
Yeah, who's big enough to buy them inside the industry?
Well, that's what I was thinking, is when you were throwing the numbers out, I'm like, who's got that kind of cash?
There's no reason for Kaseya to buy ConnectWise. None at all. I don't think it gets them anything unless they want the marketplace.
No, yeah, the only way that it would make sense for somebody in the channel to do it is if one of the distributors said, "Oh, we want it all," and one of the distributors picked it up.
Yeah,
that's an interesting point.
I just don't think anybody is big enough. So, and where does that leave, the other players, like Enable? I mean, that's who I'm using. So full disclosure, I'm still with Enable. Everybody laughs, makes fun of me, but
I have some.
They're still working for me. And, at some point, what's going to happen to them? Interesting. All right. So no other real thoughts on ConnectWise?
Not much. I mean, there's not much to be said. They're looking to be bought, and it's just a matter of whether or not they're going to get the money they want for it to sell.
Yeah. Either of you see the movie Entrapment with Sean Connery and Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Yes.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
And he makes that little phrase to her: "What can you do with 8 billion that you can't do with 4?"
4 million more things.
He could go to the moon a couple of times, right? Let's see. What other tech news is going on? So 2 other MSPs got bought for a lot of money. No big news there. Apple wants to turn your iPhone into a pet tracking camera.
Well, how about their glasses, their VR?
I
They're
assume-
$3,500 VR glasses.
Is that the ones where they said they don't work?
Well, let's be
will.
honest. They will. Let's be
Eventually.
honest. Apple doesn't. Besides the iPod, Apple has had no original development. They just perfect what's out there, and they do it very, very well. iPhone came from BlackBerry. I mean, the MacBook came from every laptop ever. So their development chops aren't what they used to be. So they're going to take a Halo glasses or whoever the big player is, and they'll just make them better.
Hey, if you can make money at it, why not, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Eric Anthony, thank you, sir. Wishing us a very happy 500th episode. Eric Anthony and I will be on together later this month, and his MSP show. Hey, and look who else is here.
Oh, Lady Di.
Giles.
Oh, Henry wants to talk about the 365 outages this week.
You know what's funny? I didn't hear about it from any of my clients.
Are you serious?
I did not. What happened?
Wow.
I mean, so Kim is my news aggregator. She'll like come into my office. Did you see this? I'm like, no. And she said, yeah, there was a bunch of 365 outages yesterday. I didn't know what happened.
So we had email outages, and it was up and down. It wasn't bad. We had, I think, 2 or 3 clients. They had some issues. I was sending some things back and forth to legal at one point, and we had some issues with that. And it was just a matter of like sending files back and forth, trying to get links to work, that kind of stuff. And it just wasn't. It was not doing well. They were having a bad day.
So Microsoft battles through 2 365 outages in one day.
Yep. Well, we saw some. It seemed like we were trying to pinpoint, try and find some common ground. That some of it was the OWA or the Outlook Online, and then also the new one, the whatever they call that, the modern Outlook, or people using Windows 11. And even in our own domain, in our own tenant, we had one guy having trouble, and everybody else was fine. And then a couple of people calling up. After when you get like the third call, people complaining about the same thing, that's when you start hitting the internet and asking. So I put it up on MSP Unplugged, and Jason, first of all, said, yeah, there's an outage. And I normally get that annoying little window in Outlook that says something's up. I didn't get that. So I didn't know what was going on. And he said, yeah, there's definitely trouble.
Very interesting. So I wonder if it was just certain regions or maybe certain providers.
Mostly the Northeast.
Yeah. And they couldn't send. That was the big thing, is the sending, apparently.
Okay.
That was part of what we were hearing.
And I think some of the Midwest was experiencing it too, but it just kind of radiated. There was an ugly, ugly red dot pretty much where we were.
Where are you, Dawn? Where are you?
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Next door.
Right.
Actually, you guys aren't too far apart in geographic stuff. So kind of diagonal. Is that right?
Yeah.
Where are you, Dawn? Exactly.
South Central PA.
South Central. Okay. So you're near Philly?
No, I actually middle of the state.
Oh, middle of the state. Sorry. I'm Central Shore of New Jersey. So probably if you drew a straight line from where you are, you'd be north of me, I would guess.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing.
Guess away. There's a good question here. Eric asked, does anyone have cloud monitoring that alerted them to it? I don't know if there's really, unless you've got, what is that one, SaaS alert? There's very few that actually
SaaS alerts. Cecilio. There's that one too.
I don't know if SaaS alerts is just 365 though, but I was trying to think. There was somebody I had on the show 2 years ago that was supposed to have monitoring for these types of things, and I don't remember who they were.
I have the whole like tech degenerates, and we knew about it like 2 seconds after it happened because you get that many people together and it's like, hey, anybody else have this problem? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So here's a question, and this came up in another chat that I saw where people were complaining that do you guys always go to your peeps or your channels before going to tech support?
Yes.
Okay.
If nothing else, it's the gut check of, did I screw something up? Because that could happen. Is it somebody else's fault and somebody else is experiencing it too? Or is it regionalized and, figuring out where some of your other friends are to see if it is just regional to you is really helpful sometimes too.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done that a lot when when you see like a Cloudflare problem or Xfinity problem or Verizon problem. Is it regional?
Okay. Because to be honest, I don't go anywhere. I go straight to support. I'm like, something going on.
Well, then that's why I'll wait and ask you. It's like you already went and checked. Why should I go check?
Well, but it makes sense that if because here's the thing, I am not that on top of things when it's like I'm not sitting at my desk all day, checking alerts and looking for downdetector.com stuff. So like yesterday, I was trying to think, where was I that I would have been, not paying attention to 365? Obviously somewhere where I wasn't sending mail or worried about receiving mail. And that very well could be because, I would get on the phone and be working with a customer and I'm like, I don't deal with other stuff. I don't look at my phone while I'm doing that. But I know I was in the car a lot yesterday, so it could have been then too. But somebody, of course, one of the groups, somebody asked a question and all of the answers had nothing to do with the question. It was more about, why are you asking that here? And why? And it's like, oh, come on, people, help each other out.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah. Let's see. Microsoft stopped rolling out a planned update because of the outages.
But didn't they also released something that was a fix, right? Isn't that what happened?
I turned away from that story. So
it was Tuesday, so of course they did.
Yeah, it's Patch Tuesday.
That was the reason for the outage, right? Another patch that was released too early.
Probably.
Oh, Airbnb scam.
I did see that. Was it the Sudanese was saying that they had hacked Microsoft? That was interesting. That was a good read.
They were trying to claim responsibility.
Yeah, they were trying to claim responsibility for that. So they said that was a good read if you hadn't read that one.
All right, here from Benzinga, Microsoft 365 product suite is down for over 15,000 users. Around 85% of the issues are related to Outlook. Close to 10% of the problems are related to the website and 5% to server connection. Okay, well, that doesn't sound right. So
Tim's asking, what do MSPs do when there's an email outage? And well, we stop emailing. I guess the question is what clarify that one for us, because I'm not sure what you're asking.
So I would take it as, how do you let your customers know?
How do you communicate? Social.
Which do you communicate with your customers by social? I don't.
Well, that's how I got a lot of my customers. So a lot of them are just there watching anyway.
Oh, so yeah, mine don't.
They might know before you then.
Yeah, that could happen.
So RMM push is a good one.
Yeah.
Just an easy way to throw something out. And we can actually throw something. We have an icon on the desktop too that we can use, and we just push it out to the icon so it has a message in it, that kind of thing. So
what do you use, Dawn?
Ninja.
Okay. I use Synchro and I'm still learning it. I came from Enable and Repair Shopper. So I don't know if I could push an alert out to everybody. I would think I could push some kind of pop-up.
Yeah, I have the ability to do that. HubSpot, we can do a whole bunch of different things because Halo is linked directly into HubSpot for us. So I can push out to my entire client base if I need to.
So it shows up as a message on the desktop?
From the RMM, yeah.
Okay. I thought when you said RMM push, like I thought that was the product name.
No. No, but there are some other things, and I want to think it's like help desk buttons or something like that I've heard that somebody uses. There's a couple other little oddities that that people have that have the ability to do that, and some other little cool things.
Tim is saying that Synchro has agent notifications.
Well, thank you, Tim.
Well, sadly, I did demo Synchro, but wasn't able to pull the trigger on it.
We're 5 months in, 6 months in. It was a good choice.
Yep.
It's not perfect, but it was a good move for us.
Anything
I became more efficient. I didn't save any money.
Okay, well, then you should have saved money. If you're more efficient, you save time.
Sure. Yeah.
Time equals money, right?
Sure.
Okay. Tim just mentioned the help desk buttons as well. Tier 2.
I was gonna say, I thought they had something like that.
Now, well, remember, I am more of a boutique / artisan shop, so we have the ability to call our clients within a small period of time.
It's funny. I encourage the customers to call us because I tell them, I'm like, it puts a sense of urgency on your problem, and urgency is one of our 4 things that we want you to know that we think your problem's important. So don't email us that your email's down, right? Don't email us that your internet's down. Call us. I like the calling better. Yeah.
I always tell them to call us too, and I just tell them, look, calling's going to get you faster service. Usually Kim will answer, I will answer, because email, if I'm on a remote call, it may take some time. And my texts that I have, everybody thinks that my texts work, sitting at home or at the office. No, they're out doing stuff too. So I tell them to call. Now, trying to think how much, I think I can tell most of this story. So we have a couple of clients, and one in particular, they're now our third biggest client. And this was a client who didn't think they'd spend any money with us 15 years ago. And now they are probably our most diligent client when it comes to listening to what we suggest or say. If we recommend it, they're like, do it. And it's pretty ridiculous. There are about 38 users. 38 users. And we just got them, I don't know, they're probably at the $3,000 mark for monthly managed services. Just upgraded them to TrueGrid remote support, so they're taken care of there. And we're going to be rolling out some cybersecurity agent training and user training. I mean, it's going to be pretty nice. But every time the office manager calls us, she apologizes, and I have to say, stop apologizing. That's why you're paying us.
Yeah,
it's to be able to make that call.
The office manager is a mother or a father, because I don't want to bother you, right?
Yeah. They're the ones too. They had what was it? Was it this morning or yesterday morning? So they moved a monitor. So they have a file room where they've actually stuck 3 people in. They're more like file clerks, part-time filers and helpers and stuff. So we stuck 3 of them in a room, and they're kind of tight. And she said she was moving a monitor to show another user or something, and they lost access to the shared drive. And I was like, I don't think that's it.
That's not how it works.
But they called in, and I got on remotely, and basically if she'd have just logged out and logged back in, it was it. But that's that client. And while I was on with her, I heard they had a new person starting, and they were talking about doing something, and they wanted to move something. And I could hear in the background, don't move it, Marvin will know.
He's got eyes and ears everywhere.
Because they always get, because I've got Domo set up there, and
Okay.
I've got all their stuff on. If a machine goes down, a key machine, I get an alert, and I'll call them and say, "What you doing?"
Oh my God, I love it. That's great. So now they're scared. That's perfect.
Yeah, they're funny. That's always great. I don't know. So the chat's having a whole conversation. I don't know where this came up with.
So they were just talking about having lists of people to call and things like that. And then Henry had posted about the CISA recommendation about the People's Republic of China and their state-sponsored cyber action living off the land thing. Yep. So there's the advisory for that. The whole summary is in that article, which is pretty fantastic. And thank you for posting that, Henry. That's a pretty big one. And I mean, it's literally using some of the tools against you that people would normally have access to. So running zero trust at that point would definitely probably have stopped that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
What do I know?
Tim rewrote a who to call checklist.
Yeah, isn't this part of your disaster? Like if something bad happens, you're not breach, it's an incident, your incident response, that you've got a printed list of your clients and their phone numbers.
Yeah, for us we do, and we have a primary and a secondary contact at all our clients. If something happens, that's who we call. They're responsible for contacting their staff. I think in one situation I've got where we will actually contact their branch offices on the other side of the state, because we've got a situation where one office might be down, but the other two are working just fine. So we'll call them and let them know, because they actually have a VPN back and forth. So they may, the East Coast may lose access to the West Coast documents because they're not synced yet. That's going to happen soon. And Tim wrote also having a hard copy of your client contracts with who to call list. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, we have all of that. Sweet.
So are you going to talk about your 500 episodes, or are we just going to talk tech stuff?
All 500? No.
Do the quick summary. How long would that take? 1 second of every show.
In the beginning, there was Steve Cherubino.
So when I do a little quick math, since you came on it at show 81, you've been doing it. If you did one a week, that's 8 years.
Research.
That's 8 years.
Yeah, but I didn't do one a week.
So how long's it been then? That's what I was asking.
This is coming up on year 7.
Okay. That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you for keeping this going. It would be easy to stop. It would be easy to stop if you couldn't get a guest or people are being jerks or there's nothing to talk about, but you always manage to keep it going. And on behalf of myself, I'm not going to speak for anybody else. I'm really grateful for you, Marv.
Well, I appreciate that. So obviously I have been through times where I'm like, do I really need to keep doing this? There's so many other podcasts out there. All the vendors are now doing, video calls and chats, and, we're all kind of now sharing the same information.
Time to reinvent yourself.
So
you were a trailblazer, but the original core, you and Mike and Matt and, you guys were kind of blazing the trail. So what's next for Marv?
Well, I thought, doing this live gig at conferences was going to be the bang, but now everybody's stealing that too. Of course, it's easier for vendors because, they have money to pay for stuff like that, and they send their people there. I can't go to every conference, by the way. So, I had limited myself to 4 a year, 1 a quarter.
Okay.
And
you want to talk to Giles about that. I want to see what her budget is. That lady's all over the place.
Well, but Giles has, deeper pockets than we do.
Yeah, she must. She's like at a show a month.
She's married to a doctor.
Well, and he says he's married to an MSP owner. So
yeah. Well, it's funny. So Giles and I have had chats, and she gets to pick her clientele.
Me too. If they'll pay me, they're mine. I get to pick.
What is this? China is doing a state-sponsored MSP pen test?
No, that's what they are. They're just a state-sponsored pen testing organization. That's funny.
Yeah. So in terms of what you were saying, so blazing a trail. So yeah, I mean, listen, you have to figure out ways to be, either fresh or have a core of good listeners. And, Mike Smith's probably got an army of listeners behind him. He's been doing his since, I don't know, 2010 or 8 or whatever. I mean, so he's got a core. All of the people that are out there doing some of the stuff. And I'm kind of just here, steady, like the tortoise and the hare,
Yeah, but as long as you enjoy it, that's the important part.
Yeah, I enjoy it most nights.
He loves the headset and the microphone. Come on, man. You're still a DJ from high school. You're just doing it different.
Yeah, spinning tunes,
Do you know how many times I listened to that when I walked across Spain? When I walked 500 miles across Spain? That's what I was listening to. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Well, you didn't listen to this because this is the karaoke version.
No, I would not have. Well, I wouldn't have sung it either. So, yeah.
If I had planned for this, I would have had a whole music, lyrical thing done, a choir. But I don't. So, Mr. Matt Rainey is in the chat.
There we go.
So Matt Rainey is so I guess this will qualify as him showing up. This was the special. Oh, now look. Now that I say it, there he is on the screen. The originator of the Podnuts Pro himself, Matt Rainey, with hair.
Yeah, I need a haircut. Hello. How y'all
How
doing?
sir?
Same as always.
Yeah.
Oh, my daughter just left. She was visiting, so I'm late.
She was visiting.
Yep.
She needs
surprise visit.
Laundry done or something.
No, not today. Just purely visiting.
Hey, aren't you supposed to be on the road about now? You were supposed to be down here this month, right?
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah. I will be in Tampa. I think the same day you're going to be there.
For the ASCII event?
I'm not going for the ASCII event, but I'll be in Tampa.
You're going to Orlando, and then you were supposed to come here and then go to Key West, but you guys got afraid of the red tide.
That's right. So I'll be in Tampa on the 20th, the night of the 20th, I think. Aren't you going to be there then?
So ASCII is the 21st and 22nd. I haven't decided if I'm driving over the 20th or not yet. So obviously you're trying to convince me to do that, aren't you?
I thought I heard that you said that on a show. So I have to we have to leave Orlando to go to Tampa to bring the girls to a concert that they conned me on bringing them to. And that concert is the 20th in the evening.
Is that a Swiftie thing?
No, we already did Swift. And this is like the 4th concert in 3 months or 4 months that they conned me into taking them to.
They didn't con you. They just asked you.
They just asked if it's your 4th one, Matt.
So we had to go to Austin for a concert. We had to go to New Orleans for a concert. We had to go to Dallas for a concert. And after
Terrible.
I don't go to concerts. So after Taylor Swift in Dallas, I said, that's it. That's the last concert I'm bringing you to. But they were going to be in Orlando. And they said, oh, the concert is going to be in Tampa, only an hour away. We have to go. I'm like, fine. We'll go. I mean, you'll go. I'm their chauffeur.
You're a good dad.
All right. So you'll drop them off and we'll have dinner.
Yeah. Kim will be there. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm sure your Kim won't be there, but
No, she won't be.
I'm dropping the girls off. The daughters, not the wife.
All right. So, Tom, you asked a question about, we're going to talk about the 500 shows.
Yeah.
Well, we can ask Matt about those original shows. Because I asked you back on our 300 celebration, what was it that prompted you to start the show and everything? But let's go back and ask this. When you started that show, first of all, did you ever think you'd be handing it off to somebody?
No. I said, I'm doing this show forever. It's just going to be how it is. But life happens. Things happen. I mean, there's always stuff to talk about. I never had an issue with worrying about content. It's just the time to.
What were you talking about? What was the thing?
It started off with just basic stuff, like something a tech should know. I think I started with how to build a server.
Okay.
Basic networking concepts.
Active Directory, DNS.
We went over all that basic stuff because a lot of times I had found other shows weren't really explaining that stuff at a lower level. They would just assume you knew it, or a very high level thing. Not, this is how you set up DNS on a server. This is how you build a server. Specifically, this is how you create your RAID arrays. Just almost like they've never done it before. Especially from the mindset of someone who was coming from home user support to business support. They were used to doing things the home user way. And if you're going to support businesses, I've seen a lot of home users trying to support businesses, and they try and carry over what they do at home to a business. This was addressing how they should do it instead.
Yep. I have all the recordings, so we've always thought about, hey, let's put together an archive where people can go back and listen.
Well, I have no recordings.
What's funny, I can't even hear somebody say the word RAID without going back to something forever and a day ago. We were talking with somebody that was interviewing for a job at one point, and was like, hey, do you have any other questions? And they're like, they were super nerdy and super into it. And they're like, so like, what's your favorite kind of RAID? And I'm like, I don't know that I have one. Like, who asks that question?
Favorite RAID. Did you reverse the question and ask them what theirs was?
I didn't want to know. I just
See, I would answer that the same way I answer what's your favorite color. I say color of what? A car, a shirt, a house. The RAID array, my favorite RAID array is depending on what data is going to be on the RAID array. It's because not one RAID array is for
but they
all
didn't really
situations.
ask that. They really just like, they wanted to create conversation. They're like, so like, what's your favorite kind of RAID? I'm like, Black Flag? I don't know.
Oh my goodness gracious.
So on that note, gents, I gotta run. Puppy's starting to wake up, so I gotta go play dog mom. So.
Don, thanks for hanging out. We'll chat soon.
Yeah. Hey, see you guys. Congratulations on the 500th episode. That's amazing. So yay.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Marvelous. And for Matt too. I mean, what do you think your largest live audience was over 500 shows?
It's easy for me because we didn't do live shows. So it was a 0. It might have been audience of me and Lalo, or me, Lalo, and Steve.
So how long before it started going live?
So I was the one that brought it live.
Okay.
And I officially brought it live with the IT Business Podcast. Actually, right before that, we had started live in actually, you know what? So this is going to sound horrible. 2019.
Not that long ago.
Yeah, not that long ago. I had toyed with some stuff in 2018, but 2019, when it was officially live,
okay.
And I said that I wouldn't talk about this, but my largest live audience was probably related around the Elizabeth situation.
Oh, sure. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember.
So
You were mad? Oh my God, you were so mad.
yeah, that was the biggest audience. Now, outside of that, probably some of the Net Ally stuff when we were doing, an actual demo. So that's what prompted people to say, you should do more of those. I said, well, if sponsors would give me product, I would.
What about like the largest number of views of any given show? Do you have a number? This is it right here.
This is it, baby. This is as good as it gets.
Good as it gets.
No, so the views have been, it's odd because here's the problem. I stream to the 3 platforms
Right.
all at the same time.
Right.
And the numbers aren't exact because I have found that there are times where people will watch and then go back. So there's 2 different numbers.
Double.
There's
Okay.
2 different numbers. There's, they actually count minutes watched versus views. And then they have unique views.
Oh, mercy.
So it gets a little tricky. So I think, in terms of the actual viewers that have watched the video, the unique views amongst all 3 is probably averages around 150 to 200 somewhere.
That's great. That's awesome.
So that's good between the 3 platforms.
That's wonderful.
And then the audio, I was looking on Apple just the other day because I might have a sponsor, but they're like, what are the numbers? I'm like, I don't know. But the audio downloads, since the rebranding from Podnuts Pro to IT Business Podcast, we are in the 400 to 500 audio downloads per show.
That's amazing.
So
I wish that I had Steve Cherubino told me before when I was doing the show with Lalo what our download numbers were. And I was surprised. At the time, he said it was the most downloaded show on Podnuts Network. And I want to say it was a couple of thousand per episode.
that may
Wow.
have been. So at the time, so in 2018, actually 2017, before we started, before you handed me the show, I should say. So you're right. We were averaging about 2,000 downloads from the Podnuts site. The only downside is that I think there were some bleeding across of numbers, but the most downloaded show was actually Android App Addicts.
Okay. Now,
More Androids.
I think the downloads also may have been skewed because we were only on that platform. If you wanted to watch it or consume it, you had to go download the podcast. You're on multiple.
Right.
outlets,
Yeah.
multiple
Yeah. So the
avenues.
downloads, but the downloads were from that site. So they were all, I believe the numbers were legit, but the problem is each show did not have its own separate RSS feed in the beginning. Because if you remember, Podnuts was all Podnuts. And then Steve started breaking them out. And Steve McLaughlin, the door-to-door geek, he did start giving shows their own RSS feed, but you could actually download all of the shows on one feed on certain apps. So it was kind of weird. I don't know how accurate the numbers were. When I started doing changes and started, when I took over the production and everything myself and redid it, those numbers only averaged between 800 and 1,000. So I took those as the real numbers. Although
I'm going to stick with 2,000 in my head.
yeah, you stay with 2,000.
That's all I heard. That's all I heard was 2,000. What are you allowed to say? Why did you leave Podnuts?
Sure.
Why did you leave Podnuts?
So I wanted to do something different. I did not want to be tied to a network. I wanted the ability to, if I wanted to go off in a different direction, I just wanted to be able to do it and not have to, check in with Dora to make sure it was okay. Now, I will say that part of that, again, goes to the Elizabeth situation because she threatened to sue Podnuts
Right.
if I aired that stuff. And,
Okay.
at the time, everybody was like, "Oh, we can't be sued. Don't say anything." I'm like, "Bitch ain't gonna sue me."
Right.
So,
She could try.
yeah, but she was gonna lose that battle.
Yeah.
So that was part of it, but most of it was there were things that I wanted to do, and doors are like, "Well, you can do it here. Just let us do this." And I'm like, "Okay, I don't want to have to. I just want to be able to do it, you know, like here, like I record, I edit, I post. I don't have
Is that
to
a good decision then?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it allows me to, broaden the horizon of the show. I can go off on all these different ventures. I do the live shows. I go out to the conferences now. I think the bigger thing was I wanted to have a name that I did not have to explain. So back in the day, everybody in the Podnuts community understood Podnuts
Sure.
and didn't care.
Yeah.
But as I get, new listeners, and I would say, "Hey, listen to Podnuts Pro." Then what's that? Well, Podnuts is the thing. And we're like, "Well, why Podnuts?" Well, it's a podcast, but it's nuts, and it was a whole thing. When I say IT Business Podcast, they at least have some idea. Okay. So that was another reason why I wanted to
That's
change
smart.
the name. But I figured if I'm going to change the name, I'm going to make the break, go out on my own.
All right. And so I don't want to keep acting like the interviewer here, but I'm just very curious. I have a lot of questions. So the whole Elizabeth thing.
Yeah.
So what's the current state of that situation? Is she alive and well, or is she under a rock, or what's up?
So officially, I don't know.
Okay.
And for the most part, I don't care.
Yeah.
As long
But
as
there's
you show up and start trying to do anything again, or somebody starts, spreading gossip or false information. Last I heard, and this is all official stuff that I can share, that the last I heard, she is still in Denver. She actually did become a nurse, which we all thought was a lie. But we don't know what she is doing, like personally, like, whether she's still married with her husband. I have not heard or seen her doing anything in the MSP community.
Okay. Well,
But
that's good. There's plenty of other charlatans that are out there. So,
and for the listeners who are either watching or listening and don't understand, I'll do this as a summary. Elizabeth was somebody who showed up and did some podcasts on my show and signed up other MSPs and other IT professionals. She claimed to be a marketing guru, and for a monthly fee would help you market and do social marketing, help you with leads, calling. She claimed to have a staff of 15 telemarketers, and she was, claiming to be, the marketing genius. And we, like others, fell into it and like, okay, everybody said she was great. We did not do a thorough background check. And basically after about 4 months, people started realizing she wasn't doing anything. And as we dug deeper and deeper, realized that she had been doing this since about 2015 or 2016. And she would churn her people where she would, claim to be this marketing person, do their stuff. And after 3, 4, 6 months, people realize, hey, you're not doing anything. And when they would start to say something, she would, fire them as clients. And if they tried to say anything about her, she would threaten to, make comments about them, embarrass them as an MSP. Because she was a female and most of us are men, she would then start to throw out some sexual accusations.
Wonderful.
Of course, people wouldn't want to talk about that. And basically, I, as the podcaster that had her on the show, felt it was my responsibility to help the people stand up against her. And, I would take the brunt for everybody, because she wasn't going to, come at me without a fight. If she was going to accuse me of something, I'm like, let's go. So that's the short story. Basically, she got out of the industry and we've all been happier since. I think, and this is my opinion, she should be in jail. I think she stole that much money from people.
It's fraud.
But
Yeah.
nobody wanted to say that. And everybody was, you can't say though, you can't say. I'm like, I'm saying it.
You know what? People are embarrassed though. Like, if they spent the money and they got hoodwinked, they don't want to say, admit that they got hoodwinked,
Yeah.
Oh,
So
it's a
that was
shame.
that. So
So
Matt,
tell us a happy story.
a happy story about the podcast.
Sure. I mean, what's it like a really good outcome?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is, let's just say this, like next week, I'm going to PAX 8 as a member of the media. So they've, gave me a complimentary ticket to the conference. I still have to pay my way out there and stuff. So it's not free.
Yeah.
But I get to go out there and interview people there as part of the podcast. It gives me content. It gets me out to these conferences. And I get access to people that I wouldn't have had access to before, which I think has been one of the good things about the podcast, is that we've kind of bridged the gap between vendors and IT professionals. The other thing that obviously the sponsorships, NetAlly, has provided me with tools for pimping them, is short of a better phrase. And
I think that's perfect.
yeah, and I think it has helped. And I think the other side of it that probably somebody like Paco LeBron could speak to is that it has given us the ability to have a community, and a community where we, kind of run things. We don't let somebody else run it for us. We don't, we like the vendors, but we don't want the vendors always telling us what to do just because it's their product. We're paying them. We are the customer. Hey, we want some say in this. We are able to have these venues where we can share stories, help each other out. I can probably say, I mean, too bad Dawn is gone, because her and I have had this conversation many times, where the ability to meet other business owners that are having the same struggles you are along the same path, and you can share and help each other out and bounce ideas off of each other is priceless.
Mhm.
And even though there's a ton of these conferences out there, you don't get that opportunity a lot of times at those conferences. So we've been able to do that. Paco was instrumental with Jeff Hallish in putting together the original, Unconvention, which is now turned into TechCon, where it's MSPs for MSPs. The podcasts that we do, that Paco and Rick do, Mike Smith as well, it's a community. And, we help each other out. It's just like, ASCII's probably a community where, if somebody posted, hey, I need help, people are going to come running. Same as the MSP Unplugged, platform. Even if we pick up the phone, hey, got a minute? Absolutely. So that's what the podcast did for me. Because before I heard about these podcasts, I was struggling down here by myself, and nobody was talking to each other down here. And I found a group of people that were willing to talk and share. So I have to thank everybody as well.
Nice.
So Matt, the
Yep.
bourbon tour this summer?
Small one. Not bourbon. I'm going to Jack Daniel's distillery just for a quick tour.
Lynchburg, Tennessee, right?
Yep.
Yeah. The whole town smells funny.
Smells good, probably.
No. I went, it was like 30 years ago when I went, maybe longer. It was not good. It's not good. The tour was awesome.
Well, Tom, as the representative of listeners, what do you get from the podcast? Because you've been a supporter of the show, which I appreciate. You've been somebody in the community that has, stepped up and volunteered to share knowledge and stuff. But what do you get?
I get the community, because I've said this repeatedly. I am not the smartest tech in the room unless I'm the only tech in the room. So I need you guys. I needed to have a place where I could build relationships with others who'd be willing to share, because like you said, technicians don't always like to share. But we're so far apart, we're miles or states apart from each other, and we can't hurt each other. And so all of a sudden your guard gets let down. And then people really want to help other people. You take a guy like Jason Miller, and his catchphrase, hit me up, hit me up. He just is dying to share what he knows. And it's people like that you don't find at a trade show, or in a Reddit forum or something like that. I think this kind of venue kind of allows the good people that really want to help each other to be seen and to be heard. So it's been really good for me in that regard. I can pick up. I call Kyle. I called Jason Percival in Pennsylvania. I called Jason Miller. I call you. I've called people that and Giles, of course. It's great, really great.
And Rainey, we know you've been trying to retire for years, but
Trying.
we keep dragging you back.
I'd love to retire completely. That's my goal.
Yeah. So let's see. Tom, you were not at the original Unconvention.
I missed Toronto, but
And,
everyone after that though.
and Matt, you weren't at that one either, were you?
No, the first one I went to. What was the second one? Where was that at?
DC.
I went to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might. And then I went to was the next one in
Chicago.
I think I went to that one, and then there was one in Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's when it then it changed. That's when it changed.
That's the
Right.
3 I went to, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. It's always bad timing for me when they have those.
But start of school, right?
Well, my youngest one's graduated high school now.
I was gonna say she's graduated now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, where's she going?
She's gonna be a Raging Cajun, University of Louisiana at Lafayette.
Nice.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to check the score. So Giles, so there was an opportunity for Oklahoma State, which is her favorite
Yeah.
team, to play Florida State in softball. And Oklahoma State did not make it. So Florida State is playing Oklahoma for the national championship, and their first game was tonight. And
Yeah, I'm sure she's glued. I'm sure she's glued to the TV watching that one.
I don't think she even watches sports. I don't know why she claims
Yes, she
it.
does. She goes to the football game. She's a maniac.
No, she's not.
Yeah, she is. She goes to the Oklahoma State or Oklahoma football game. She's there all the time. I always see pictures of her out there.
Oh, it's in a delay.
Where are
is
they
it in a
playing?
delay? It is. I don't know where they're playing.
Don't they always play in the same place? I know where the baseball plays, college baseball.
Well, I think that's a little different. The men always play in
In Omaha.
Omaha, yeah.
Yeah.
Omaha. He will be there next week.
He's gonna be where?
Peyton Manning is keynote speaker at the Pat Sate Beyond.
Is he really?
Wow.
Oh, that's fun. Good thing
Yeah.
it's not Eli. Peyton's got some personality. Eli, I mean, being in Giants country here, Eli was a great quarterback, but he's
Eli's
great.
doing all his commercials now, man. He's picking up where Peyton slacked off.
Peyton's hysterical. I love watching him on Saturday Night Live. It just kills me.
You're gonna somebody's gonna yell at Omaha from
Yeah,
the
sure.
crowd.
Yeah, they
Of
will.
course.
So apparently, yeah. So the game was delayed to 8:49 p.m., which I don't know if that's what is it, Mountain Time or Central Time or whatever. So apparently there was a lightning delay.
Oh, so they gotta wait. They gotta wait 15 minutes.
Yep.
If there's no lightning, they can go back out.
And I'm sure Giles is somewhere either ironing and washing dishes, half
She's
listening to the show.
Probably in an airport.
No, she won't be leaving until Saturday. She
No,
go-
but I just sent her something, and she goes, "Oh, thank God, it arrived before I go into the airport." I'm like, I don't even want to ask where she's going.
but she will be in Denver. She gets in on Saturday.
Nice.
I get in on Sunday.
Take her into a dispensary. That'll be fun.
I'm not taking her anywhere.
Wait, where is this PAX 8 at?
It's in Denver.
Oh, you got to go to what's it called? Buck something? Oh,
Bucky's?
no, not Bucky's. It's a restaurant. It's got a bunch of animal heads on the walls.
I've been to Bucky's.
Yeah, well, of course you got to go to Bucky's.
Thanks to Giles.
I'll visit. I'll make the Bucky's run in a few weeks to hit 3 different Bucky's.
So what'd you say? Buckheads?
Buckhead.
Oh, that's Atlanta. Buckhead.
Oh, you're gonna make me Google it now, aren't you?
I'm not gonna-
It's a famous place. It's a landmark in Denver, and they serve the best Rocky Mountain oysters there.
Okay. I don't know if I have time, but
Oh, look, when we went to Colorado. We were in Colorado Springs, and we drove from Colorado Springs just to Denver just to go to that place to get some Rocky Mountain oysters. Now you know what Rocky Mountain oysters are, right?
I know the answer to this, but I don't.
Okay.
I do, but I don't.
and flat out no. I'm not.
I've heard it. I've heard of it. Why don't
It's
I know?
it's male bull parts.
Oh, right.
Fried.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
All right. With that, I'm going to get back to a question asked.
You know, I'm a bull, right? Matt, you know my last name is Bull, right?
Right, but I'm pretty sure they're not yours.
Oh my.
Let me check. Yeah, no, they're not mine.
All right, guys. I'm going to ask you to.
Buckhorn Exchange. Buckhorn Exchange.
Rocky Mountain oyster.
All right, I'm going to ask you guys to hang out here. I'm going to close up the official part of the show here, and then we can chat more about bull parts later. So, folks, if you've watched, thank you for watching this long. If you are listening, thank you for downloading and subscribing to the show. And I want to thank you for being a very active listener and making it worth my while to keep doing this and to let me know that what we are doing is a good thing here. You're getting information, you're getting camaraderie, whatever it is. I want to thank you and ask that you keep giving me feedback, both good and bad. You know, that's the whole idea here. So I don't know if I'll make it another 500 episodes, but the goal is to start. So I will be, starting with 501 here in just a few days as I start to do these interviews in Denver. And we will keep doing shows. We'll keep doing the live shows as long as people watch. And we'll keep bringing you content as best as we can. And I want to also say right now, I should, do a very special thank you to the sponsors of the show. Even though I don't officially get sponsors and talk about them all the time, they obviously help me pay the bills. All the things with, the hosting and the editing and the gear to record and stuff. NetAlly, of course, providing us with the networking tools that I hope you guys are taking advantage of, being able to test, validate networks in the quickest time possible. They are coming out with the new Cyberscope, which as soon as it is available from the manufacturer, they have promised me one, and we will do a show completely on that. Basically, it's a network tool with some cybersecurity stuff built in. So we'll be talking about that as well. The sponsor that helps pay for this using StreamYard, it's a monthly cost as well. Computers Done Right, our good friend John in the community is that supporter. I appreciate that. He doesn't have to do it. I think he gets enough business, but thank you for that. That takes care of everything. If you need computer support in the Southwest Florida region, or if you need somebody to help you with websites, social media marketing, he can do that from anywhere. John at computersdoneright.com. And our newest sponsor, the person that also helped us put together the very first unconvention, Corey Fruitman from Instant House Call, remote support tool for, you know, the small MSP, the solo tech. If you need something to help, you know, support your customers and you're not, you know, yet set up with a big RMM or, you know, Kaseya or ConnectWise, Instant House Call has all the same features as those tools, you know, unattended access. It's got some built-in diagnostic tools in there. It's a very quick and easy setup for your customers. You get a specialist sign in. You can white label it. You can customize and brand it. All great. And if you head over to instanthousecall.com, you can sign up for a 15-day trial without having to put in a credit card. So head over there and support our sponsors. Again, NetAlly, Computers Done Right, and Instant House Call. And I should, of course, always thank you, the listeners. Thank you, the patrons. Tom, you're a patron. I thank you very much for that. Scott is a patron. Scott, Kyle, Jason. I'm sure I'm missing some. Clark. And somebody who wants to be unnamed by giving me a generic name. So Israel. All our patrons, thank you guys very much. That also helps to, you know, pay for some of the stuff that we do here. You're always welcome to give donations. Head over to the website, itbusinesspodcast.com. Click on the Amazon link, and anytime that you shop using that link and make a purchase, your price doesn't change, but a little, you know, 1%, 2% comes back and helps out the show. That is going to do it, folks. And again, thank you very much for helping me get this to 500 episodes. We are going to close out here with a video of the PAX 8 Beyond conference that I will be at next week. Those of you that are live, we're going to be right back. But everybody else, we'll see you next week. Yes, there will be a show next week when I get back. And until next time, holla.
We've always defined ourselves by our ability to provide solutions. To do more with less. Build something from nothing. To make the unknown known. But we've only just begun. And we must never forget that our greatest accomplishment cannot be behind us, because our destiny lies beyond.
All right. That ends off the official 500th episode show. And guys, thanks for continuing on here. So unfortunately, I can't tell who has stayed with us. What was that?
PAX 8 and beyond.
That was quite a production.
Yeah, that was for them. So I wonder, Tim, if you're still here, I'm going to go back and just catch this real quick here. You had asked the question about what was the tech like 7 years ago compared to now. I don't know if that was around the time that we were talking about the podcasting, but if that's the case, and the reason I'm guessing that is because you also asked the question, was it just Apple Podcasts? So I'm assuming you're talking about putting on the podcast and monitoring the downloads and stuff. So the tech has obviously gotten a lot better. If I remember correctly, Matt, when this was all started, it was Google Hangouts, right?
Yeah, I don't even remember. I just know for my part, I just showed up and talked, and
Yeah.
that's all I did. So for me, the tech's the same. I might have a different microphone, but
Yeah.
I didn't worry about any of the other stuff.
And I remember in the beginning, we were all using Audacity, the free recording, and we all recorded our own side, and then would have to send it.
Oh, I do remember that.
You know,
I was like, oh, I got to record this.
yeah,
Yeah,
and we had to send it,
that's
and
right.
Door or somebody would do all the editing and put it all together and post it up, and it could take days to do that. And Tom, that was probably another reason why I wanted to do it myself. I'm like, look, I want to record and publish
And
the
publish
same
it
day.
now. Yeah.
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 And I didn't worry about, well, if you listen to me in the beginning, you know that, we didn't worry about quality as much as we should have. We had some bad shows, but the tech itself wasn't bad. It's gotten a lot better with all the platforms out there, including Zoom, which I use sometimes for one-on-ones, but StreamYard, this is fantastic with being able to bring in stuff like the videos. You can actually bring in music. We can bring in slides and PowerPoints and do all of that, just kind of like a, go-to webinar type deal. But the gear that you don't see, and I don't even know if I can set this up yet. I didn't add the second camera. I probably shouldn't do it because we might lose connection. But actually, I can do this. So
If you move the monitor,
well, this gear here. So this is what's called the Rodecaster Pro, and this is the second version. And this is what I actually record on. And it can do separate tracks. So you guys would come in on a separate track. The music that I was playing earlier, I'm playing from my iPad and I'm playing from sound pads as well. I can record from a phone. I can record up to 4 mics. So this is what will go with me out to Denver and do all of that. And it's like a production studio. And that is what has made me sound this good. What?
and what kind of camera is that makes you look so good?
That's the horrible lighting in here.
Lighting's really good there. Good.
It's we just redid these, by the way. So this is brand new LED lighting in this space. And the camera is a Logitech Brio. It's just a
wow.
It's just a regular webcam.
No
I'm
kidding.
not big enough to do what the others do with their digital, what is it, SLR, DS, whatever, those cameras.
DLSR.
DLSR.
DSLR.
Yeah, I'm not getting that.
I'll tell you right now, you couldn't look better. You could look younger, but you couldn't look better.
I'm working on that.
Listen, I'm gonna have to go. My wife's been working late. She's gonna be walking through the door any minute.
All right.
She's not gonna want to see your mugs. So
No. Tell her we're gonna bum rush your house when we're up there while you're gone.
while I'm gone. Nice. Well, she'll be with me, so that'll be good. I can spare her.
Yep.
It's good to see you, Matt.
All right. Bye, Tom.
Thanks.
Take it easy, Marv.
All right, Mr. Rainey.
Just
Were you
the two of
listening?
us.
Were you listening at the beginning of the show?
No.
Okay.
My daughter was here, and I was like, oh my god, it's already.
I was like, I don't know if he's gonna make it, and I'm not gonna say who it is. That'll jinx it.
Yeah, I was waiting for her to leave. If she wasn't gonna leave soon, I was gonna tell her, okay, bye, I gotta go.
You gotta go.
But I knew she wanted to leave because she likes to go hang out at her own apartment. Every week, my wife sends her the menu of what she's cooking for the week, and my daughter shows up.
Are you
on nights
kidding?
of- No, it's-
Really?
yeah. And when we never know if she's. I don't know if she's going to come. My wife might know, but she just shows up if it's something to her fancy for dinner.
Okay. Now, does that determine how much your wife cooks? Or
No, she cooks the same amount anyway. We just don't have leftovers.
becomes leftovers?
Yeah. So there goes my lunch for the next day, usually. The leftovers are a thing of the past, usually, because either it's her coming or it's my other daughter's boyfriend is here a lot.
Oh, the boyfriend comes over now.
Boys can eat, and I should know this because I was a teenage boy at one time, but they can eat.
So, how was the approval process of letting the boy come in?
Approval, like I had some kind of say in it.
You're supposed to.
It's not how it works these days. No, he's fine. He's a good guy. I like him. Good guy. Even if I had any say in it, he still would have been approved. So
All right. Because mom liked him, right?
everybody likes him. I don't know anybody doesn't like him. I did get my daughter's friends gave me the scoop before I actually met him, and even my daughter's friends all
Yeah.
liked him. They were like, "Oh, he's a good guy." So, because teenage girls, I don't know if you know teenage girls, they like to gossip and talk. From in my experience, and
Okay.
none of them had anything bad to say about him either.
That doesn't stop when the teenage girls grow up. Women, that's just women in general.
Yeah. So between that, she cooks what she cooks, and when it's gone, it's gone.
All right. So Matt, how's the business going? Any big stuff there?
Same old, same old. Might be losing one of my techs, might be moving away. So guess we gotta find a
Have you,
replacement for that one.
I was going to say, have you actually hired any techs recently?
I'm not recent. Usually our techs stay. Last one might have been, I don't even know, 7 years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago. He's still with us, but the one that is leaving has been there for like 15 years or something.
Oh, so that's a big one. But weren't you supposed to be hiring a tech so that you could do less?
Yeah, so I mean, in a way, I do less because I do give away a lot more tickets now,
Oh, okay.
but I keep on them now to get them done. So there was one point in our ticket system we had like 300 open tickets. I keep it down now. It got below 40 the other day, open tickets. So I hound them to get it done and do it, you know. So I do my tickets. The thing is, like for example, let's say a client calls you. I need a printer installed. Okay, whatever the issue is, you might call them and they're not available. You leave a voicemail or a message saying, "Hey, call me back when you can. I called about the printer. Blah 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 blah," and they'll let it go for a week. And I'm on them telling them, "No, you call them back the next day and touch base with them again. We want this ticket closed. We want they called for the printer installed. Yes, I know you called them and left a message. I know you did. That's good. But call them back. I want this ticket done." So I got on them and I hound them and we get the tickets done now. So we keep it low. The problem is I was having to do a lot of stuff because when you got 300 open tickets, you want to get done with what you can get done. And if I have a tech that has 30 tickets, I'm like, well, I don't want to give another one. But no, the reason they have 30 because they're not getting them done.
Right.
So I keep on them to get them done. I'm like, look, touch base with them, call them back the next day. After a week, close the ticket. I mean, we don't want these open tickets. Maybe they installed themselves. Maybe they whatever. But if you call them for 3, 4, 5 days in a row and there's no callback, close the ticket. Before they would leave the ticket, they would call them, leave them a voicemail, and leave the ticket open for 3 months. I was like, no, we're not doing that anymore.
That can't be right. So we have a client that they started using Monday before I came on board, and that was their ticketing system.
It's called Monday?
Yeah. Monday.com.
Okay.
And it's basically is one of these generic sites where you can do, project management and, but they've turned it into a ticket thing as well. And it's like a task manager type thing. And then they created an IT board. So the tech on site is supposed to go through and manage that stuff. The problem is nobody puts tickets in Monday. They just you just walk around the building until they see somebody. Oh, hey, can you help me? Well, no, you need to put that in Monday. I'm helping this person.
But it's Wednesday. Why have to wait till Monday?
So very interesting setup there. But that's the client I'm talking about. Well, they're like, well, how do we manage that? I'm like, you've got to force your people to do it. You can't just let the tech just
You have to
wander.
train them. You got to train the users.
So, but here's the part of the problem: the management themselves don't use their own system.
Yeah, I come across that a lot as well. So I train who I can and hope for the best. Now I do reward people. So we have an email address. You're supposed to email to
Right.
create a ticket, right? Or you can call the office and have the receptionist create a ticket. But some people like to email text directly. And I've told my techs, you need to reply back to them and tell them that they can't email you directly for a ticket request. They've got to email support. So just reply back saying it's against. Just tell them it's against policy. Say it's against my work policy to accept a ticket emailed directly to me. I need you to email support. That's what I tell them to tell them. So we've got to train them. We've got to train them. Got to train them. And then the clients very rarely email me directly.
Right.
But when they do, look, I might not see it, right? I tell my clients, I live in the ticket system. I don't live in my email. I'm in the ticket system. If you email me, I might not see it for a day or two because
Yeah.
I'm in my ticket system.
I found
So-
that's usually the best way to explain it to people. It's like, look, if you send it there, it's not going to get answered. But
Yeah.
here's the other thing. Isn't there used to be a way do you have one email for tickets, like support
Yeah.
at,
Yeah.
is there a way? I'm trying to, I haven't done it because when I had the text, I think I redirected all their incoming mail to forward to support at MB Systems.
Yeah. I would. Well, what I thought about doing was creating a message rule in Exchange. If they email the support address
It would count.
and somebody else, to just drop to somebody else and only let the support address go through. Because what happens is they'll email the support address and they email the tech, which I'm like, that's stupid. Tell them to stop doing that.
Right.
But then the tech won't see the email support, so there's already a ticket. Then they'll forward it to support, and I got 2 tickets for the same thing. I'm like, oh, stop doing that. I said, just look and see if it was. I just look and see if you have a ticket assigned to you. I mean, you don't need to forward it to support if you already have a ticket. That
Yeah.
happens constantly too. I almost want to make that message rule. That way, they won't have those duplicates. I don't know why they have to email the support address plus CC a tech. Like it's still gonna get to the tech.
Because
Just
they think that, the more people I email, the faster it'll get responded to.
yeah. Well, the funny thing is, I have clients that for some reason don't ever look at the email from the support address. There's one. She emailed to create some email accounts, and she wasn't clear at all what to create. So I literally emailed her back. I emailed her back once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times in 2 days, asking for clarification. And I just copy and paste the same question over and over again. She hasn't responded because they don't look at support address emails from support tickets. And I've had clients tell me, "Oh, I don't read those." I say, "Well, if you have a support issue that you want assistance on, you really should read them because we're trying to help you. So if you don't read them, I mean, your issue is not going to be resolved."
Right.
It doesn't make any. You're not hurting me. I'm going to email her back twice. I email her morning and afternoon. I'm going to email her back 2 more times, and I'm just going to close the ticket because.
So do you guys ever do this? So I've done this. There's a couple of people I do this with, where if they don't respond, I'll just hop on their computer and open up the chat window.
No, I don't, because I mean we could, but that would freak them out. And then sometimes they ask questions, even though they know that we can do that, they still freak out like, "Oh, I wasn't ready for connect." So no, we don't connect to anybody's computer unless they tell us to connect.
No. So there's times like I'll just call and I'll say, "Is so and so there?" They're like, "Well, they're doing this." I said, "Well, tell them I'm connecting to their computer right now." Yes.
So yeah, so if it's a ticket that comes in and they want me to do something, if they're not there, I mean, of course, it depends on who it is. I mean, some clients I've dealt with 20-something years, I know. But for the most part, the rule is I'll email them back and saying, hey, I called you, you're not there.
You're right.
I
Let
can
me know
connect your computer if you would you like me to connect your computer without you being there to do this. And I'll wait for them to reply. So, but they might say, oh, I had some sensitive information up. But then my response would be, well, don't leave your computer with sensitive information up. I mean, you shouldn't be doing that anyway.
Yeah. So we have our computers locked. We make them lock after, no movement for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or
Yeah.
whatever it is. So then we log in as admin, so their stuff stays open unless if we have to reboot, then we stop. If we know it's going to require a restart or something, it'll log them out, then we don't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, the general rule, if we have to default to a rule, is don't connect unless they ask you to, or
Right. Or give you permission.
yeah, because I've had clients who get completely freaked out with that. Even though this one I'm thinking about in particular told me to connect, but then when I connected, they still freaked out. I'm like, well, you just told me to connect to do it.
Right.
And like, well, I don't know when you were going to connect. I'm like, you just told me to connect now, and I said okay. That means I'm going to connect now, and they still got freaked out.
So the best is a client that calls and says, hey, I'm having this issue. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I had that today. I mean, that happens all the time. My computer is blue screening can you connect? I'm like, how am I supposed to connect if it's blue screen and rebooting? They're like, oh.
No, mine is like they think I'm watching their machines.
Oh yeah, yeah, they do that. They just I don't understand how.
But don't you see? I mean, it's right there. I saved this. I'm like, well, if you want me to connect, I will. But no, I'm not looking at your screen. I don't have time.
Yes, that's what we do. We monitor you constantly. Yeah, people say the weirdest things. I mean, I try to think about it because it really does aggravate me with these people.
All right, my friend. Well, let's end off the live show here, and then if you want to stay and chat, we can. But we've got a few people still watching. Thank you guys very much. Or they've walked away and.
Is that stream still on?
Yeah. So that's going to do it, folks. We'll be back. I got to try to get some sleep tonight and got a big week coming up. So we're going to close out and see you next week.